Hola, hola, hola a todos. Vamos a quitar eso de ahí. Nomás que me confirmen que me escuchan. I forgot that this was a English live. I'm really sorry about that. I'm really used to. I started speaking Spanish. So yeah. So if someone can just tell me everything sounds good on your side, you have everything set. You're grabbing something to drink or to eat while we were saying we're gonna be here talking with Thomas Burkhart. I'm gonna present him. I actually think that he doesn't need a presentation because he's pretty famous. We all have used one of his packages, at least one of them. I know he has more, and that's why we are here. He have a lot of work done on Flutter. He's gonna be talking about everything, so I don't want to be like saying everything for him. What do you think is better if we invite him to here? Hello.
Hey, Miguel.
Hey.
Great, great to be with you. Yeah, I wanted I would like to share today a little bit about my views on how to structure an app, how to build an app,
Yeah. Amazing.
and as we talked before, let's try to do it in a little bit more conversational style, not
Yeah,
so much
it's
on.
awesome. If you want to say something about you, like I have always followed you for a
Yeah,
lot of
okay,
time
I
in
can.
in the back. For just for people that have doesn't
Yeah,
know you, I have always looking at you when you're doing something with bread, and I just getting hungry every time I see that. So hey, just feel free to say whatever you want, and when you are ready, we can jump into this
yeah,
conversation
sure.
talking about RVMS.
Sure. Yeah, I'm a Flutter developer, and yeah, I sometimes say I'm almost a legacy system in the community because I'm in IT for more than 30 years now, and so I have seen a lot of things, and finally landed with Flutter, and I really like what I saw with Flutter so far. I'm living in Germany, in Bonn, and yeah, work most of the time as a freelancer, or if I sometimes too much time I spend on my packages where I should maybe do something more that brings money, but doesn't matter.
Okay.
and
Um,
uh, and I really enjoy teaching others and talk to people. Yeah. And
that
as you already said, I bake my own bread. So if you follow me on Twitter, you can see from time to time my what I pull out of the oven. And yeah, great.
Yeah, I have tried to do some, but I'm so bad with the bread. I'm really good with barbecue stuff,
Mhm.
but bread, no, I don't know how to. So I'm gonna leave that to you. Okay.
Actually, I was several times already asked for recipes, and I think I really have to create a repository on GitHub with some bread recipes in English, so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
others
That
can
actually
also
it would be
have
amazing.
something like this. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Robert. It says that you're Thomas the Bread Man.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Robert. Cool that you're there. Uh, Actually, also, I'm really happy if that you who view on especially in Mexico got out that early and watch a Flutter talk. Yeah, it's
I mean,
probably.
actually, for
Hmm?
me, it's like way before for other people. I'm like um the sooner that you can have in Mexico, because
Hmm?
for me it's 11 p.m. in Mexico City. It's noon.
Hmm?
I think Colombia, Peru, it's one. It's two for Bolivia, and it's two also for Argentina, I think. So you are across four time zones right now. Um,
Cool.
so
Yeah,
let's.
let's
What do you
start.
think? We can start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe just share my screen. Yeah, exactly. So that's what we want to talk today together. It's my take on how to build an app, and you may ask, uh, what? Wrong. I should activate the right window. This is sometimes really helpful. So why another architecture? And at this point, I could ask, do we have actually any Flutter architecture, any reference architecture? And not really. Have we? We have a lot of state management packages, sure.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of and people always some people talk about what pattern is it, and I say, yeah, okay, pattern. Flutter is the best. If you're talking about the typical patterns like MVP, MVVM, it's more that we say, okay, MVU would fit best, yeah, because that's what we do. We change some data and we update our screen, yeah. But all these acronyms don't really tell us how to build an app, yeah. So and also the state management solutions, they are only a little part in my app, yeah. So I still have little guidance how we should do this, and that's the reason why I thought about how to change this, or not only how to change this. I had the same situation. I was thinking, okay, how will I build my app?
Yeah.
And I tried.
I just want to say something about what were talking before. If you see, most of the time, when someone talks to you or tell you about architecture, sometimes architectures are just defined like a concept. So you could have like the same architecture but implemented like any amount of different ways. So that gets confusing, because if you are asking for someone, oh, I was looking for a job, or I do an interview for people, and you were asking do a clean architecture. So clean architecture is too open concept. I mean, I use it, I like it, but it's a really open concept. It's not a definitive use of concept for clean architecture, and not saying about Flutter. It's not for Flutter. It's not for that. It's not for anything.
Yeah.
Clean architecture is a concept. So that's the same with most of them. They're just concept. You don't know how to do something or how to structure anything. Just the name is a concept, and use it whatever you want. So let's get confusing.
Honestly, I think my goal is to give a quite concrete way how to use it. But we will see there are several points where you are not limited to use the tools that I use. And as if you call it clean architecture, in my opinion, it's an overkill for an app. So that's the. I had a look at it, but I honestly wasn't really impressed. I saw too much
folders,
too many boundaries that I have to keep, and it's. Yeah, I don't know. It may be great if I have to program the next banking system for a big bank or something like this, but for an app, don't know. So that's the reason I want to go. That's why I call it a practical approach. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you see, I have above there RVMS. This was the first iteration step of my journey there. And the reason was that the predecessor of my approach was completely built on streams and on RX Start. And I don't use streams anymore, because streams are always or often problematic for together with the UI, and a lot of people don't like them. And so I thought, okay, can we do this differently? And what I wanted to achieve with this is actually this is an important point, and I think something that a lot of developers don't really value or don't care about enough. It's the point that we read much more code than we write it. Yeah. So which means it's not a good idea to use systems that or to use something that might be extremely short to write, but it's hard to understand. Yeah. And especially if you come back after 6 months to your code and you look what is going on, or even or if I have to get into a new code base, I want to have something that is easy to explore, easy to understand. If you ever had a Redux app, and try to reason about what's doing what. Yeah, it's almost impossible, because if you start from the UI and you hit go to definition, you end finally at some abstract interface, and you don't know where to go further. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually currently I'm using Redux, and the most that I hate about it is you have this action stuff, so you can fire your reducers
Mm-hmm.
to update your state. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're trying to look, okay, I want to see the code for this reducer, it always jump into the action because that's the class.
Yeah.
The other one is just implementation for this, but it's separated. So you get confusing between when the reducer goes in, when it goes out, how it was changed, when did it refresh. So it gets, I mean, it's good, but it's too complex to understand. If you just see it from the beginning.
Yeah, and you have a lot of boilerplate code. That's the other thing with Redux. Yeah, but things. So for me, it was really one of the goals. It has to be explorable. It should be easy to understand. And also, that's the rule 2, no configuration by convention. So everything should be clearly stated, not some magic behind the curtain where I don't know what's going on. Yeah. And then I wanted to have an approach that helps that you get a feeling that it's really you are really working on some serious part of the app, and not just on some small wheel somewhere, and you don't see the whole point. Okay, the other things are more or less what we always have with the if we want to have a good structure to our app, easy to test, so it should scale, and it should be fun. That's also one of the things that I said. It really should. It should not limit you. It should be. It should encourage what you are doing, and and highly reactive should it be, because Flutter is a reactive framework. The idea. This is something that people coming from some other frameworks often struggle at the beginning. It's really this idea. We want to update if something changed, and it should be work automatic. We don't do anything imperatively that we say, okay, we wait, and then we say this widget, now you draw this here. No, the widget will redraw when it's ready. So something like in this way, like this here. So some event comes from the UI and we react. Yeah, it should be really very direct. So, and here I go to the we develop this a little bit, and the thing is that if we have an app, yeah. So typically we have at the top. Wait, what's going? At the top, wrong. Why is my no? At the top, I have my UI layer. Yeah. Then somewhere, typically, I need something that talks to the outside of the world. Yeah. So everything that is at the boundary for an app, and I don't want to have the UI directly do this. So what I use here is a layer of services. Yeah, that means we have services down here, and now it gets so. And if we call this here the UI view and service, so we have from RVMS, reactive VMS, we have already the V and the S. So what's in between? And there is my approach is that I use several manager objects, and the thing is that a manager is more than just a view model, yeah. And a manager groups business logic together that is related. So, for example, if we have might have a user manager that deals with everything connected with users, like authentication, user profiles, everything, this stuff. Yeah. So these are the main the main layers that we have, and how there are different ways. This would be the abstract way to look on it, and not the we don't have said everything yet about how this thing will be built. Yeah, what will we use for this? So for the responsibilities, one thing, services. Yeah. So what do I expect from a service? A service should offer me an easy access to the outside of my app. Yeah. So this can be a database service. This can be some REST API call that I have to do. This may be some device sensors like a compass or location. And what also I expect from the service is that they offer me an easy interface for the rest of my app. So they already should do all deserialization, JSON deserialization, and conversions, so that I have the service gives to the upper layer always a valid object. Yeah, something that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the idea is that everything and also a service never changes any state. Yeah, that's important. Not on itself. It may be the tool to change some state, but it does not do anything like this. The only part where a state is changed are the manager layer. Yeah. So now we go back to 1. So here's a little bit more an example that we have. For example, how an app could look like. Yeah, we have once here we have the 2 managers. We have an user manager, and we have, for example, if this is a commercial application, we have an invoice manager that does everything like this, and we have and we have the several views. And if you see, the user manager, for example, is used by the login view and by the invoice view, for example. Yeah. So this also means typically managers are pretty long-lived. So you don't create a manager every time again if you push a new page. If it's a page that really does only one thing, then maybe. But normally managers have a longer lived life. And the other thing is that you see, for example, a view might access a service, but only for reading. Yeah, okay. Because it doesn't make sense if I have, for example, the location service. If my map view just needs the current location, why should I pass it again through a manager? Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Or it would be only boilerplate code at this point. Then we have, but on the other side, to change something, they always go through this, and we have the the communication between the views and the managers goes always in this direction by using a method call or using a command. We will see what a command is in a moment. Yeah. And in the other way, data is always passed as using value listenables. So value listenables like a value notifier. Yeah. And I don't know. I guess, do you think value notifiers are known? Is this a known concept to most users? Or
yeah, it should be, because every single one of many of the stage management extends for a change notifier. They should knew if they done this time, so they knew. So what I was about saying here, like, it's important to make this difference between clean architecture and this architecture, that in case of like, in this case, you're actually getting information from, since you are not using one of the parts of the layers, right? Like the map. And it's like a no-no for for Clay. You should never go through there. You always have something in between, even if it's just like, I get it, I send it, that's it. It's just like you need to add something. Your, in this case for clean, your presentation will never know that they are never even exists. So in this case, this is a main huge difference. Sometimes you don't actually need this, so you can, for usage, you can omit this step. So that's like, I mean, for me, there's a huge difference in between the other most of the known architecture. So yeah.
But I think what's important here is that again, to strengthen that a few only will do read accesses to a service. Yeah, so a few won't should never do some changes in the state of a service that or trigger something that changes the state of the app. Yeah, this is the job of managers, and managers from one to each other. Can use also commands typically and value listenables, and from managers to the services, because services are often asynchronous. So this is very, very often either a stream or a future that is an other call that is done down here. But from here up here, we normally try to avoid futures and streams, because both can be a little bit problematic, and value listenables are much easier to control what they are doing. Yeah. So
I think can we just get back, because I get kind of lost. You say this and this, but your mouse is not like showing properly in the screen.
My mouse is not displaying.
No, that's why I told you, because you say this and this, but I actually never seen it. Yeah. Now we can see this and this. Now I see something.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Good. So from the manager up to the views, that's what I meant. So we only do value listenables, no streams and no asynchronous calls. And on the other side, we typically have streams and asynchronous calls, and managers will take care about this, that we have the data. They make sure that the views get their data in an optimal format to display. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what do we? Oh no. Oops. Okay. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do this. No. What is a command? Yeah. A command actually is you could imagine this. We have the command some box that has inside a function. Yeah. So for example, here we have some we wrap inside this command, for example, some future to rest call. Yeah. So this does not help. That does not bring much. But the idea is that a command is a callable class. So you can call the command, and it will call automatically the wrapped function inside. Yeah. So, but why this all this? So the idea is that this command itself has several properties that are value notifier. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and the command itself is actually a value notifier. So what happens if you call a command? It will call the wrap function, and the result of the function will be published on its value notifier interface. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then besides this, we have some more properties. Oops. we have one that is called is executing. Oops, I forgot the executing. It's executing. It's executing is executing does has a bool. So the moment I call this this command, is executing will change its value to true. Yeah. So you can listen from the outside and get informed. Oh, okay, something is happening inside here. Then I have another one, and this is can execute. Also bool. This will turn false the moment when I start the command.
Okay.
And now you might ask, okay, what's the sense in this? Yeah, I have they are just inverse. It's just the inverted value of the other. Yeah, but the thing is that I also have I can pass in another value notifier when I create the command, and this is restrictions. Don't worry, you all get at the end a link to the to the clean PowerPoint presentation. Yeah, but I just wanted to try something a little bit more different today. Okay, restrictions allows you that you can, it's a value notifier. You pass it when you can pass it when you create your command, and if you change the value of this value notifier to false, immediately can execute will switch to false. Yeah. So can execute does not only depend on the is executing, but also on the state of the restriction that I put in. And this allows me to define relations between commands that can block at each other, and I can express business logic more easily in this way. And then I have another one that's also very handy. Oh, that's the wrong one. Don't matter. I have another one. And this is called thrown exceptions. And the thing is, if the function that you wrapped inside a command, fails, throws an exception, it does not crash your app, but it will publish the exception on this value notifier. Yeah. So you can and if you so we have in this we have at the moment 3 value notifiers. We have the command itself, which will have the result value. We have a flag if it's executing, if it can executing, and if it has an error. And all of them we can easily observe from the UI and react on them. Yeah. So in a way, you could say a command does in some parts the same thing than a block, if you have one block. But the difference is, the first difference is that you can call a command like a normal function. So you can pass it to any handler in the UI. And also you have this nice different outputs that you can that you can connect with your UI. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I'm seeing like the structure, and I like it because you can have everything just one call. You can manage everything else. But something that they always they talking about community. They always asking how to combine two, like in this case providers or information in between. The comments can remove information from one comment to another if you need.
Sure. Because there's now nice thing is this thing is a value notifier. Yeah. And if your value notifier have not only a value, they are also they are implement change notifier. That means you can register your own handler to it. So it's easy to register a handler to such a command. and let this handler call another command, for example. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And we will see this in a moment how this can look like. And now that we have the principle described, let's see how this would work in some action. I have a small animation here that shows it again, and I really have to. Zeigeoption. How do I get this? Yeah. So if this button is pressed, we call this command. Right. So we see here from is executing a true value, a bool value gets to the gets to our view here. From can execute, a false value travels to the button, and the actual action that is wrapped inside a command is does the recall into the service. Yeah. So we see we disable the button get disabled. We have a spinner coming up, and after a moment, we get our data back, and the values change so that we automatically have the button enabled again. And this, I can do it just once more. So, by the way, this animation, if somebody wants to know how it is done, I did this with Rive. Yeah, nice. Honestly, it's not so easy to find an animation program that is, if you don't have After Effects or so, there's no so much choice what you can do, and this is one of the options. Now, if we look again at this here, we see we have a little bit of problem. These objects here, somehow they need to find each other. Yeah. And there are several different approaches how you can do this. And my own and my preferred one is to use my service locator GetIt. And but sure, you could also use a provider here, for example, or a Riverport or what else. But I want to show you a little bit how this looks like if we use GetIt for it. And this is it's very straightforward. We have GetIt itself is an singleton, and so it has an instance. And the easiest way to deal with this is that I often use is I just assign the instance to one global, or some people call it now ambient, sounds better, to a global variable that I can access from anywhere in my app. Yeah. But I can always also use GetIt instance, or there's a short form GetIt capital I, and then I have also my instance of GetIt. So I in a setup function at the beginning of my app, I register my in this case, for example, some model class, or could be some manager class, and I can use an abstract interface for registration and pass a concrete implementation. Yeah, through the rest of the app, you always use this type to access the object, and which means you can, in the setup function, easily switch out the implementation for some other implementation, and the rest of the app won't change. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the UI, it looks now like instead what people often at the first thing get shown using some inherited widget. We do it now like this. We just call get, or as getIt is an callable class, so we can do it even shorter, SL, the type that we want, and call a method on it. Yeah. And the nice thing about this is that getIt does not need any context, anything like this, so it can be used between services and managers also the same way as in the UI. And recently, not really long ago, users of getIt asked me, "Hey, can you do something to make it a little bit more easy to to bind the values in getIt to the UI?" Yeah. So and because this here is not state management, this here is just a service locator. Yeah. So it allows us to access certain things. And what I did then is I developed a mixin, the getIt mixin, and I have to thank Remy Rosillo at this point, because the way he implemented Flutter hooks was a great inspiration for this, and it really makes working with values in getIt extremely easy and straightforward. Yeah. So one of the, for example, in this example, we use the getIt mixin brings in the watchX function, and watchX gets an accessor function that tells watchX where it should what it should watch. In this case, it should watch the name property of the model object that I have registered inside getIt. Yeah. And it should not only watch, it will, at this moment, if I call watchX, it will get the current value, we assign it to name. And every time now this name changes, name has to be a value notifier in this case. Every time this changes, this build function will be rebuilt. So and with this we get the we can call the combination getIt mixin and getIt really a state management solution. Yeah. But this is and you can use this without a command if you really want only want to be very straightforward, very direct. And there are and you can, for example, with this over the accessor method, it can be anywhere in your model structure below what you want to observe. And there's additional functions, not just the watchX. We have only in watch only that will allows you to watch objects that are not value listenables, but are a change notifier, and you want to observe certain properties. That's it's very close to how a provider does it in this way. And but the nice thing is really, if you look down here, normally, if we would like to observe this property, which is a value notifier, we would have to use here a value notifier builder. And and every builder in the UI tree makes it much more difficult to read, in my opinion. It's much easier to read in this way, that we have at the top, we have the we define what do we watch and store it in a local variable, and we can use this then in the code below. But we can do even more. We can we can watch a stream, for example, and or a future if it's necessary. We shouldn't do this necessarily, but sometimes you need it. And the watch stream, for example, will rebuild this this widget every time the stream emits a new value, and assign it to this variable. And the nice thing about this is normally, if you want to do this, you would either have to use a stream builder or a stateful widget. And getIt does all the subscribing and disposing under the hood. The getIt mixin does this. So we even can have some. It brings functions in for register a handler for something. For example, if I want to show a dialog at the moment this value changes. Yeah. then I can use the register handler function. The same for streams and for futures. And at this point, you will see for this we really would need normally a stateful widget where we subscribe in the init state and then we dispose at the end. And with this, we can just use the register handler function and pass our handling this what we want to show in this case the dialog. So this combination we will use get it for to access our services and managers, and on the other side we will use the mixin to make it easy to consume the values that our commands offer. We have, if you recall, a command has a lot of change notifiers or value notifiers. So they are ideal to observe with the watch X function.
I have never felt like I don't like to use the code in between the builder. I don't know if that's a good or bad idea, but I haven't. I think that makes the code harder to read.
What do you mean?
Can you go back in the slide? Like the other one, just the one before the code one.
This one?
That one. This is 100. Can be this added in other places?
No, it has to be inside the build function.
Okay.
This is important. But
because you need the context.
But yeah, no, it's not the context. It's that it. That's a good question. Could there be some? It's pretty. The thing is, if I otherwise I couldn't use it in a stateless widget. That's the main.
Oh well, yeah, that's true. I was thinking about like, I can put it in the dependencies change or something like that. But yeah, that's a stateless. Yeah, forget that. Yeah.
And also this I would say this example is a pretty bad one because I register 3 handlers after another. Yeah. Maybe this is not the best thing. And on the other side, you could. For sure, you can to refactor this part into a function that you call from here. Yeah, you only have to pass over the context that it has the context to access. Then it gets a little bit more clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And no, yeah. Let's see some code because now we have the concept so far, and so we want to go to. And yeah, this is the app that I wrote to show the different features. It's pretty basic. It's an app that queries a weather API and shows us the result.
Oh, give me a second. Can you do the font a little bit bigger? Because if not, it's hard for the people at YouTube to take a look at it. I think that's it. If you can, you're reading these people. So if one of you want to tell me if you see it is okay, yes, please let me know. But yeah, I think that's good enough.
I can make it bigger. It's not a problem. But then we have so little space on the UI.
Yeah, that's why I told you the one before was.
Yes, I think that should be okay. Yeah. So. Let's first have a look at what should our app do. So we want to have a list of weathers of different towns. We want to have an update function that should show a spinner while it's doing, and also while when updating, we have we see the button down here changes to it disables the button. Then we have some a search box up here. So if I type here, it will filter for this for the characters. And if you look closely, it does not update directly. It waits a moment till I stop typing. Yeah, so that's always a good thing if I hit a remote API that I don't hit the API with any key press. Yeah, so
yeah,
and we will see how we can do this easily in our in a moment. Then another feature that is actually does not really make sense, but we can show by this how what you can do with it. If I change this switch here, it will disable the update function. It also disables up here. Nothing happens as long as I don't enable this again. Good. Let's go into the code that we after we have seen this. So let's start. Let's start in the main. We have the very basic. The only thing is we have here this another call in the main function register view model, which does which actually is only the function where we register our services and managers inside Get. Yeah. In this case, I don't have I don't have different implementations, so I use directly the same type for registration as to create our instances. Yeah. So then, if we have that's the only important thing. Otherwise, we will have a problem when we run the app. Then we have, if we look here, the structure of our app. I try to structure the app in a way that it is feature-based. So I don't have one folder for all managers and one folder for every service. We can have a look at a bigger example a moment later. So the weather service also is not very interesting. Let's go me one smaller after you got bigger there, so we can. I think I can reduce here a little bit. Hey, what's wrong? Yeah, and all this does is it does a simple HTTP GET from a known API. It does a deserialization. It checks if the filter text, this is the that we can pass to this function. It will reduce the result of the query with a where statement to only things that begin with the part of the filter text, and then we map the result to a real object that we want to use inside our app, and return return this list. Yeah, so this is not something different than with any other way we do it.
Maybe someone in the audience is that you need to press the insert key. Maybe what? Because you have the update jumping in there.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But it does. It still does this. Or what do you mean with the update?
I was the message was for because you're trying to change the size and you couldn't because you had to remove
yeah. Right. Yeah. Oops, no. I have the. That's really strange why I couldn't do it at the moment. No.
This always happen in the lives. Don't worry. Everything fails. Like when we are doing a live, everything fails. So don't worry.
No, this is really a little bit strange. I mean, I know I have the. Sometimes I still struggle with the Vim plugin that I use. But why does it do this? Strange. I can't get it smaller. It will somehow.
I think it looks good. I don't feel that it's needed to.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. So okay, we have this part. Now let's go to the manager. This is way more interesting. At the top, we define the commands that we want to use. Yeah, we will use 3 commands. We have an update weather command. This will be that actually will be called when the button is pressed. We have an set execution state command. This we will use when you use the small switch at the bottom to lock the update. And we have an text change command that we will use together with the text field that we have for the search. And every command, if you look here, every command has 2 types, an input type and a result type. Yeah. So the update weather command expects a string and will return a list of weather entry. And if you have if you want to wrap a function inside a command that doesn't have any result, you pass void in this case. But even if you pass void here, if you register a handler to the command, it will be called when the function has finished. Yeah. So you still can react on the result of a function, even if it does not return any useful value.
Okay.
So we don't have this in this case, but it happens sometimes that that if you do some update command, for example, to a database, that's one of the examples. Exactly. If you write to a database and we want to show a toast when the update command is finished, yeah, then we can this update data command wouldn't have a result value, but still we can listen to the command to show our toast in the end. Yeah. So let's have the first look at we created with command has several static functions for creating a command, and the set execution state command is a pretty simple one, because what it does is it just passes the value it gets in through. Now you might ask, what's the sense in this? Yeah, sounds a little bit stupid, but recall the command itself is a value notifier. This means it can store a value. The last result is always the value property of the command. Yeah. So and if we think about how switches in Flutter work, that switches don't have a state. They need a current value, and they need that changes the moment the switch has to change. Yeah. So we will use the value of the command here in a moment to set the status of the switch in the UI. So we just by this we just ensure that we have a very comfortable way to store the value, and we still use a command, because this makes us. We will see in the next command why this makes sense. We always have to pass an initial value as in any value notifier. So to make sure that we always have a valid value in the UI. Now the update weather command, in this case we use the create async method, because we want to call some async method, and in this case we pass in the update function of the weather service that we access by using getIt. And we pass in an initial value, an empty array. And now in this case, we pass for the restrictions. We pass in the set execution state command from above. And just by doing this here, we have defined the relation that if I change the switch, it will automatically lock the update function. So the whole way that we are doing here, it is very declarative. Yeah, we define the behavior. That's also the reason we put this in directly typically in the constructor of the manager, and we keep in mind that this here does not execute anything. It only sets up the rules that will be used when the app is running, when the weather manager is created.
Yeah, it's not going to be called because you put it in there. You need to call it and everything. It is like introduce itself to the app.
Yeah, exactly. So this the text change command, we do actually the same thing than with the set execution state command. We use it itself as a buffer that we just store the value that we will get in from the text field. And now the nice thing about this is I wrote another package not so long ago that is called functional listener. And what functional listener gives you is it gives you similar data transformation functions that you get with rxstart, but not for streams, but for valued listenables.
Oh, that's get it from the debouncer is used with Boolean identifier. Oh, nice.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. The text change command is a value notifier. It's a command, and now I use the extension function debounce from the functional listener, which will ensure that the next part in the chain will only be updated if the value stayed constant for at least 500 milliseconds. So that's all that we have to do to realize this requirement that we only do a call when we wait when we stop typing for a moment. Yeah. And the listen function is also from functional listener, makes it a little bit easier to use a value notifier. I would say in a way that it should have been from the beginning, because listen, you pass in a function that get directly past the current value of the value notifier. Yeah, so you don't have to access the value notifier again to access the value. So listen, the function that we have here will be called every time the text changed and kept its value for more than 500 milliseconds. This function that we have in here will be called. And in this case, all we do is we call from here the update weather command. And in this case, I call the execute function. I could also omit this and do it like this here, because it is a callable class. But in my opinion, if I call a command explicitly from code, I prefer to write the execute out. Yeah, but this is really just a style thing.
So one question, because maybe it's not important, but you had the underscore. What's the second parameter that is needed that you can use
this here? That's actually a nice thing. You get here a listenable subscription passed in if you want, and that this allows the handler to cancel itself. So if you need to have a cancel an handler, the possibility that it at some point says, stop, I don't want to be called again, then it can do this by using cancel on this parameter.
Okay.
This is just makes it very, very flexible in this way. And while I am debugging, for example, I do here listen on the thrown exceptions value notifier, that I see directly in my output what's going on. Is there any exception? Yeah. And at the beginning of the app, we will call once execute so that we have some values in our list view. But if you look at this again, we have here all the logic that we saw in the UI is defined by these lines. And so it is very it is declarative. It's not that you have to go through to understand what does this loop, what does this if. No, we can really see how are these things linked together. And if we go now to our homepage, what we have here is that we at the top of our build function, we register one handler on the thrown exceptions that we want to see a dialog if something happens. And if you wonder why do I check error on null here, the thing is that's more or less a downside of a value notifier. As we said before, a value notifier has always a value. In contrast to a stream does not always have a value. A stream will emit sometimes a value. So as thrown exceptions is a value notifier, it will always have a value. So we have to distinguish between there is an exception or there isn't an exception. And for this, always if you call the command, the very first thing that is done is that thrown exceptions is set to null. Yeah. So that's the reason why we check here.
This is gonna be fixed after the null safety, or?
No, the problem will be the same, but I think I will do it in a way that I define explicitly here a type no error,
Okay.
and I will set this value then to an instance of no error, so that you can check for this one. So this will make sure we will be safe for any errors. And now we come to the part where we say, okay, what did we want to do? We had the update beta command, and we want to make sure that while it's running, we want to have a progress indicator on top. And we want to have we want to need the state for the button for our switch switch at the bottom, that we have a button enabled. Oh, there's a typo. A button enabled variable which we watch the update beta command can execute part. No, sorry, I have to scroll back. That's not for the switch. This is the point we need. We need a value. We need to know if the. Actually, I did the same last presentation. We need a way to know if the update button should be enabled or disabled at this moment, and that's what we do here. We watch the can execute of the update beta command. So, and finally, we watch the set execution state command value. This is the thing that we will connect to the switch and store the value in the switch value.
One question yeah. There. You have like is executing and can execute, but just because maybe somebody could get it in there, but if you just says is running and is not running, is not talking to the same value as notifier, value listener in there?
No, because if we recall here, the update beta command gets additionally as an input a value notifier for restrictions that will block it if this is set to true. Yeah. So the can execute depends on the value of the set execution state command and on the is executing.
Restriction. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's the reason why we have two of them. And but good that you ask again, because this is really one of the things you have once to understand, and then it's then you know why it is in this way, and it's not that intuitive. I agree. So and from now on we have three variables. They will automatically update it if anything of this properties change, and which makes normally we would need here three value listenable builders in here in this code. But we don't need this. We really have can write our code as if we have normal variables here on changed. We use the get mix in here on this on this widget. Yeah, this is important for all this. And it also brings a get function with it, which just gives us the object without anything else. So we assign to the onChanged of the text field, we can directly assign the text change command. And this is, I think, this is really one of the nice things compared to the way how block works. In block, you have to add a handler here that then stuffs an object into the stream sync, yeah, an event object. And it never made sense to me. If I want to execute a function in a model, I want to call it like a function and not something else. So we can directly pass in this command. Then we have a stack here which has the list view, and if it's running, the variable that we observe is true. We will put a circular progress indicator on top. Then we have our button where we enable or disable it based on the value of this variable that we got from the watch X above. And in the switch, we directly pass in the switch value, and in on change we pass in the set execution state command, and that's all.
Yeah. I mean, that's is more. It's cleaner. What I like provider. I have used it a lot for a long time. Provider. One of the things that I don't like is I have to use a different kind of listen files, listen through in between if I doing a calling the met on press or not. So I like starting with that. I like this approach.
Yeah. No, it's and it's the thing is it's really, you don't have to care about any context. Yeah. This makes it in many cases a little bit more comfortable, and get it. It really I can only really recommend to everyone reading the README of Get It, because Get It has some really nice other features. For example, it does it allows you to synchronize your initialization if you have several objects that need an asynchronous initialization. This is supported by Get It inside. We have from with version 5 we have now scopes, so you can directly if you, for example, typically application that I use it, you have your app, and at first you register all your basic services, and now if the user authenticates, you register a user object, for example. But before you do this, you do a push scope, and so the next registration is done inside a new scope. And the moment the user logs out, you only have to pop the scope, and every object that you have registered since then will be freed automatically. Yeah.
So, it's important to say when Thomas says that context is not needed, it's just for the logic. It's just for retrieving the managers. The context has nothing to do in between your business logic. Context is needed, and you should know where your context is everywhere on your front end and your floor. The context not needed just because in provider you need to set off context in there need to be in there. So it's just for that. Don't say I want to use this because you don't need context. It's because this is business logic, is architecture talk, not about pro navigation or pop-up shopping. So just saying that because some people get it like the wrong way. It's not context. Right now for the architecture and for the getting mixing is not needed because it's actually never needed. You shouldn't be able to need it any other place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and this is actually that's the principle. Then we have in the list view itself that is embedded here. I only have one watch X at the top. Obviously, we also have the get it mixin in here. We have the watch X that just watches the update weather command itself, and we get the data in a normal variable, so we can directly use it in our list view builder without any additional builder around. Yeah, so it's a very straightforward approach in this way. And again, just to have this look, it's really the way you can you can define the behavior inside directly in the constructor of your managers. Is once you have got a little bit used to it, it's very, very comfortable and easy to maintain. This is one of the things.
Yeah. So maybe you can say like it looks kind of weird at the first time if you look at it, but right now this has a lot of comments in there. When you're looking at it, it's more cleaner. It's gonna look different because sometimes people get like kind of scared looking into this and says, oh, they have a lot of this or that. It's just comments right now. Actually,
Exactly.
like for the devs, it's just like 4 lines. That's it, 3 lines. You don't need the other
Exactly.
one.
This is the amazing thing. If you take all these commands away, it looks very, very concise. Yeah. Then we have something like this here. Yeah.
Even though that one could be 1 line, you could use a fat arrow in there
Exactly.
if you like it. So this
exactly,
could be smaller.
Exactly, we can do this here. Yeah.
Yeah. So
completely right.
there are
Yeah.
2 lines, and you are doing a debouncer, and that's important. That's relevant. That's understandable. What's doing this? Okay, it's a command. It's a synchronous. It's a string. You add a debounce.
Exactly.
4 lines of code, right?
Yeah.
So because some people don't get why I should use this or that or whatever. This is kind of important because this code or the code you are using right now, it's gonna be a legacy code in one point.
Yeah,
so
definitely. Yeah.
sometimes you go and look some legacy code that, oh my god, I don't know why people do that, but you're gonna be like headaches and stuff trying to understand some other legacy code. So it is important for the next one, or maybe for you in the future. Sometimes ourselves get lost in our same code.
Honestly, if I come back to my code after 6 months, I sometimes really look and think, okay, what did I do there? And actually, there are two things. Either I did it good in the first step, that I can easily read what's going on. If not, I have 2 possibilities: refactor it exactly at this moment, or put some comments in there if it's really something complex that you have to explain. But actually, this is also one of the rules of myself. Here a lot of comments, because this is the example app that I link with the repository that I gave already to you. And so that people, if they only have the presentation and go through the code, have it easier. Normally, I really only document APIs, and if there is something that is not clearly expressed inside the code, because
maybe it could be important to say on the top of the class, this is do this. That's it, but not like each line that is not needed.
Exactly.
Another thing that I'm seeing that some people, I'm just saying this because I have get these questions around the community and around other places that sometimes they get confused. How should I create my folder structure? It's silly, but people get scared because they see
honestly, this is a completely valid question, because and to be fair, I had to change. I changed my approach about this after one project, because in the beginning I always had the idea, okay, let's put all managers together in one folder, and all pages, and all widgets. And because this is the natural thing that humans think, that they try to categorize and put things in drawers,
in boxes,
in boxes. And in German we say drawers, which is put things in boxes. Okay. Exactly.
It's the same.
And but the problem with this is that it's actually, if the project gets bigger, it's almost impossible to navigate. If you are looking for, you're always looking for, where is this manager that I need now? And that's not good. So this here is an example of my current project that I'm doing at the moment. And what I do is I organize it by features. So and by features, this can be a page. In this case, for example, the main page of this app that I'm doing at the moment, and because it has one big page. The main page is the most important in this area. But for example, I have also, the main page has a very complex map on it. So the map gets its own feature in this case. And the map has a manager, the map manager, so it's placed directly below the map folder. And also the widgets that are used inside here are directly placed inside the feature folder. Yeah. So the same thing up here. We have all widgets that are used in the main page will be placed directly under this folder. So then I have the tracking processing here, for example, is there's no UI. It only has managers and models.
Thomas, sorry, I just noticed that you were saying this and this, and we don't have the mouse.
Sorry, again.
Sorry. I'm really sorry. Yeah. It took me a while to now I see something. Sorry.
No problem. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. The map has its own manager. Then we have the tracking processing, which is no UI. It has managers. It has model classes. Then we have, and if you see here, I used a little trick because Visual Studio Code does not allow custom ordering of your folders, and I order them here in a way that I have the ones that I use most on at the top, and also inside here that the managers and services will be on top. And I use it, for this. I use one or more underscores, leading underscores.
That's why you have underscore in there. Okay, I was about to ask you about that. Yeah.
Now it's really just to keep in order, and then I have, for example, I have here a shared folder where I put things in that will be used from several different features that I have here. Yeah, but I'm not too dogmatic about this. For example, the map manager will also be used. The map manager has also accessed for 1 or 2 calls from the main page. Yeah. In this case, I leave it inside the map feature folder and just reference it when I need it. And because if I, in the way when I think about where is my stuff, I think map manager, okay, it will probably be inside the map and not inside the shared folder. Yeah. So in shared is really only things like, for example, there is a network service, there is config services in here. And then I have a widget folder where I place all widgets that are not specific to a certain feature.
Okay.
And then the rest is that way. Okay, I have an app folder where I have the startup page and everything like this in it. And the idea here is that normally, if you work on such a feature, you are responsible from the UI down to the service. Yeah. And I think this is important that the one thing is that you can one feature itself can test it together as a full functional component, and also that for a developer that you really, at least I think it's important that you feel you are not just pushing around some widgets, but no, you are writing really some full component inside this app. Yeah, and close together with this is I call it the self-responsible widget. My philosophy, how data is transported. I think a widget or a page or a little bit or a more complex widget should know where it gets its data from. Yeah. So it's not that I push all data that's needed inside the constructor of such a widget, but I have just okay, here, this is the widget. Do what you know where to get your data from, and this is for the reason is it's easier also to test this stuff in this case. Yeah, you don't have to set it up. The UI the widget itself knows it, and if we be honest, 90% of the code of one app won't be reused in another app. Yeah, this is so this idea that we I know some years ago it was really we all had the idea of do everything in a way that it can be reused. Yeah. It's just not the case. If you have some functionality that you want to reuse, then break out a package, make a library out of it. But for widgets, for example, either they are really simple. Then if I have just to pass a string and a handler, okay, fine. But for example, this map that I told about is very complex widget that's doing. I don't want to have to configure it from the outside. Yeah. So I don't want to see in the code where the map is placed a lot of additional data and logic to configure this thing. No, in the page where this map is used, I just want to see map. Yeah. And everything is hidden inside.
Okay, that's good, because sometimes widgets became a little monster inside our apps, like appearing from everywhere and copy from another place. And like you said, this, if you have something that you need, you will reuse. It's take it off and reuse it as a package. So that's important to have. I don't know if you have more slides in there. We can go. If I have some question, I can look to the comments.
Maybe if we saw a moment ago, we saw the when we saw this list here. Maybe if you I show you for a moment. This here is the actual app that's where this code is used. This is an this is a mobile client. It's a client for a drone detection system. And what you see here is that we have I have the same code running as Windows desktop app, and at the same time on the emulator. And you can imagine. Oops. Oh, that's
it ended. Yeah.
You can imagine this. This thing is pretty complex. So it's really. This thing is one widget itself, and it knows where to get its data. Yeah? It knows which manager will get its data, where it gets the data update. The same, this things here, this side part here is one widget that knows everything what it has to do. So
I have. Is that the leaflet map or that you're using?
No. This application supports two maps. One is it indeed uses OpenStreetMap with Flutter map, and the other thing is these are things you don't think about this if you have not this requirement. The moment you go further north on our globe, you get with the normal leaflet apps, you get a lot of distortions in the image. Yeah, so it's not precise enough for things like this, like we have here. It's the airport Heathrow. So we need something else. So what I did is I used the Flutter map as a starting point, and implemented my own tile-based map that queries from our server that does all the calculations. I query from that tiles of aerial photographs and put them together. And they have a completely different way to place coordinates to avoid the distortions. What this thing does is it has one coordinate in the middle, which is latitude and longitude. And then all other data is in meter in X and Y in both directions. So that I have a very precise position on the map when I place the stuff. And
looks pretty good.
And what you see here, this is all a lot of custom painters. These are custom painters. This is again one of the things that I love with Flutter. I had no idea how I would have done this with any other toolkit. Yeah, this is just this makes things easy, and it was really fun to write this part.
Yeah. Sorry, I just tapped and leave the studio for some reason. I wasn't. It was.
No problem. No problem.
I was looking
Okay.
at the code and
Questions.
you and I tapped.
Questions.
So let's look in here. It says hello from Spain. I think Brian is for Ecuador. Okay. Oh well, this is not topic related, but still, I gotta say it. Is this that how you feel when you change in between Windows and Mac OS?
Honestly, I hate it.
Yeah, it's hard.
And the thing is, I got last week. I got one of this new MacBook Airs with an M1 in it, yeah, with the M1 processor.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I love this small machine, it's really awesome. It's way faster than my really powerful desktop that I am using here. For example, building the app. Building this app here, for desktop takes on Windows a minute, and on the M1 for Mac OS desktop 40 seconds. Yeah, and I really love these things, but the UI I don't like it.
It's more like getting related to it. I'm used to Mac OS. I have using it for several years now, and I get like it feel like that when I move to Windows. When I get some Windows on it, I I don't feel like comfortable. So
yeah, it's it's the keyboard. Yeah, it begins with the keyboard. You don't know how many apps I have closed while I was trying to get to the @ sign. Yeah, because the @ sign at least in a German keyboard is on the Alt Shift button and the Q, which is actually is exactly or the Finder. Finder is so unintuitive. No, okay. But on the other side, it's I like the machine. And actually, the worst thing about at all is, this here is an. Oops. Oh my day. This here is a German keyboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look next to the Enter key, you see there are several keys that are not on the normal keyboard, named the umlaut with these dots about it.
Yeah.
That's a place where on an American keyboard are the braces and the square brackets. Now, exactly. now the problem, I ordered my MacBook with a German keyboard. With the results that everything is fine, but they did not print what we have on a real German keyboard. You see on the numbers above, there are the brackets, yeah? Additionally, they did not print it on the Mac keyboard. So I don't see where are my braces, yeah? I really have to look where.
And for software development is like, that's one of the most important characters.
Yeah, this was really the thing when I realized this. You can't be serious, yeah? Okay. No, this is so much to the back, yeah.
Yeah, it says, G-Day Contreras says, if this is a bad idea, just provide it and get it together.
Okay.
I'll let you answer, yeah.
It's not not a bad idea, but it's not necessary. The thing is, I know from several people they use Gedit for everything below the UI, and in the UI they use provider where they have the context. Honestly, I think especially now with the Gedit mixin, where you don't need if you want to use Gedit, use it everywhere. But as said, you can use the architecture that I showed. You can exactly do the same. Use my Flutter command together with provider, for example, yeah, to do this. It's really mostly a matter of taste, and also check which other features of the package might be handy.
I was muted, sorry. From Moreno told him that you can just get it for the business logic and provide it for the widget logic. But yeah, I mean, I just said it can be done, but it's not needed. Also, you can use provider and do the dependency injection in there. So whatever works for you.
You might have a problem if inside the business logic then. But for example, if you take Riverport, a new one, you can use it everywhere. It's in my opinion, this is really mostly a matter of taste. What syntax do you like more? What additional features do you like more? Check both out.
Yeah, Deepak asked, he was saying to Deepak, the conversions to use underscore for directories and file names. Yeah, I think I use this. What did you use underscores on directories?
This is just to achieve a custom ordering. The more underscores you put in front, the further up is it in Visual Studio Code. I don't know if IntelliJ supports a custom ordering. I'm not sure, but Visual Studio Code unfortunately does not. So it will always try to order it by it alphabetically and or by last changed, and both is not really helpful.
Okay, Robert Brunhag, what made you go with the common pattern?
Actually, it's not my own. It's not my own invention. That's the first point. Before I got to Flutter, I worked with Xamarin Forms, and in the .NET world, there is a great framework which is called reactive UI, and I started using it because I got hooked with RX at this time and streams, and the reactive UI introduces this concept of a reactive command, which is actually offers the same things only with streams and not with valued notifiers. And I really like this idea to have a more or less declarative way to define the behavior of my app inside my business logic. And so I stuck with them. And I have not seen anything else on the Flutter side that that's what I thought is more attractive.
Yeah, that's good. I don't have any question, but I have one of mine.
Yeah.
Because I was waiting for someone to ask something about this. Testing for this.
Okay.
So I've seen the classes, so you can make the mock, but I just like, because it's important to say it. So
yeah, sure, definitely. There are different approaches. Okay, to be fair, I'm a lazy tester, definitely. I only write typically tests for my packages and that have clear defined API. But there are different possibilities. One of the things is that if you use Gedit, that you can easily switch out a real implementation for a mock implementation of something like this. And there is a command type besides the synchronous and asynchronous command. There is a mock command, and the mock command allows you to freely make the command behave like you want. So you can make it publish an error, set and busy, or set certain data, and by this you can really test your UI, but that is hooked up to your manager, for example, in a very defined way.
So it's embedded in the common the mock. That's
already there, and yes. It has even some nice things like I said it that some things that you only start finding when you are working with it. For example, if we have the pull down refresh for a widget, which unfortunately expects a future, that it knows when it's done, Okay, so a command has an additional function which is called asFuture. So it will that you can use in this case, and if the command finished, it will complete the future that this function returns to you.
Yeah,
and things like this,
like creating with a completer, so you can manage.
Internally, it's a completer, and it just waits for the end of the command to to complete. But it's one of these things. It makes life easier if you write your code.
I have a one last question. It says, how can we use provided outside of widgets of business logic?
You can't.
That's the short answer. You can't.
You can't.
That's like the same Remy say that you need the context. So you only have the context in between the. I mean, you can pass it as a parameter, but it's not a good way to do it. So the short question is you can't. If you want to like use provider for in between another in relate, I don't know, maybe user with product or something like that, you can create like a proxy provider change notifier to be listening quote. But yeah, short answer is you can't.
Or really go for a new one for Riverport, or what I would recommend, just use Get It.
Yeah, you already see it. Okay, that's it. It's almost 2 hours, and I'm gonna get more time for you because it should be around 9 p.m. for you.
Yeah, but it was great, and I honestly I enjoyed it way more that we could talk about all this instead that I just got to give a talk. So really enjoyed it, and I hope your viewers also enjoyed it a little bit.
Yeah. It was different. I have never used this like format for this, but it the only thing is it goes a little bit longer than usual. But you have more questions, you have more interaction, you can move in between people and you and myself, so you can focus on the talk and answer, and I can focus in what people say, also my questions. So it was pretty helpful. I think it's a good idea to do it like this way. I just like doing this for an hour and a half because also people is sometimes it's get so much time.
I know.
But yeah, so Deepak says that it's 1 a.m. for him. So really appreciate that you are right here, man. So thank you for being here.
Oh wow. So leave a comment what you think about this format, if you like it or not, because it's really helpful for other talks. And if you can follow me on Twitter if you have any questions. You can always hit me on. Yeah. And see you.
he want me to say that. I was about to say that feel free to reach Thomas if you have more questions about this. You can reach me out also, but he's the expert, he's the creator, he did it. So I'm sure you'll have better answer from him than from me. So okay, that's gonna be it. Thank you very much again, Thomas. I'm gonna send you a little bit back to backstage. So just say goodbye and get back to you in a bit, okay?
And don't forget to add the link to the repository with the presentation. And
I will.
Okay,
I'm gonna get in the bottom of this presentation. I'm gonna add the link so you can see this code, make a fork, and play with this and learn how to use it.
Okay.
See you in a bit.
Yeah, see you.
So I just want to say thank you. That's it for today. Please, if you have some topic, something that you would like to I don't know, to hear here or talk or an example or whatever you need, feel free to reach me out. This is my Twitter handle. Thomas also has his Twitter handle. Feel free to reach him out, and we're here to help you. So thank you very much. And I have one more comment. Yeah, we want code. Yeah, you will have the code. Thank you very much again. This is going to be the end. So I see you really soon.